Hi there. The presenters, Sarah, Paula, and Donna will be along in a minute. I'm here just to let you know that I will be a part of this presentation. A few other characters will be in the presentation as well. The presenters thought they would like me to kick things off just so you would know the presentation will be different than the usual PowerPoint slideshow. My animated friends and I will be playing parts in 3 scenarios about how to ask the right questions to get the right answers. Anyway, I won't take up any more of your time with more talk. I'll turn the presentation over to the official presenters, Sarah, Paula, and Donna.
Hello, welcome to our presentation. Just asking how to ask powerful questions to get optimal results. This presentation will be told through the lens of an administrator and 2 faculty members. Sarah Christie and Paula Parker are associate professors in the Department of Exercise Science at Campbell University. Donna Woolard is a professor of exercise science and serves as chair of the department. Sarah, Paula, and Donna will share some tips on what is required to ask the right questions to get the results you want. To get the right answer, you have to ask the right question. What's the right answer? It's the answer you want. Asking the right question is a unique and influential skill. When formulating the right question, it is imperative to first think about the person you are addressing. If you were in that person's position, how would you like to be questioned? Here are a few tips on asking the question that will elicit the answer you want. Number 1. Use open-ended questions because more than a one-word answer is required, which leads to a better understanding of information. Number 2. Use closed-ended questions when you need a specific answer or want to be pointed in a specific direction. Number 3. Use why questions sparingly. Why questions can make the person feel challenged and the person may take a defensive position. A person in a defensive position isn't likely to give you the answer you want. Number 4. Don't link questions or ask more than one question at a time. Ask open-ended and closed-ended questions separately. Allow the person to respond to each question one at a time to avoid overload. Number 5. Avoid asking loaded questions. Their challenging and controversial nature may trigger a response that is unlikely to get the answer you want. Let's dive into the first of our 3 scenarios that illustrate how asking the right question in the right way is key to getting the desired result. In our first scenario, a faculty member seeks advice about a student complaint from the department chair. Good morning, Dr. Boss. I have a student complaint that I would like to discuss with you.
Good morning to you, Dr. Carpenter. That's fine. I have some time now. Please tell me about it.
A student has emailed me complaining that my tests are too hard, I don't distribute study guides before tests, and it is unfair for me to call on students to enter into class discussions. The student says he has emailed you about his complaint.
Yes, I have received an email from a student in your class.
I am a good teacher. I make every effort to see that my students learn. But students don't do well on my tests because they don't read the textbook. They want study guides because they don't want to read their assigned chapters. Students don't want me to call on them during discussions because they are not prepared for class. What should I do about the student's complaint? Do you have any advice for me?
Dr. Carpenter may be venting, but she seems defensive. Don't waste time trying to justify or defend yourself. Justifying your actions may make you feel better, but it is more productive to get to the point and stay on target. Dr. Carpenter should tell Dr. Boss the steps she has taken so far before asking for advice or next steps. When going to your administrator with a problem, it's a good idea to have a proposed solution in mind. But don't let your lack of a solution deter you from taking the problem to your boss. Your administrator will likely be happy that you brought the issue to him before things turned into even a bigger mess. Finally, it's good that Dr. Carpenter asks Dr. Boss open-ended questions, but she asked 2 back-to-back questions, instead of 1 question at a time. Remember, allow the person to respond to each question one at a time to avoid overload. Let's give Dr. Carpenter another try. Good morning, Dr. Boss. I have a student complaint that I would like to discuss with you.
Good morning to you, Dr. Carpenter. That's fine. I have some time now. Please tell me about it.
A student has emailed me complaining that my tests are too hard, I don't distribute study guides before tests, and it is unfair for me to call on students to enter into class discussions. The student says he has emailed you about his complaint.
Yes, I have received an email from a student in your class.
I am a good teacher. I make every effort to see that my students learn. In my email reply, I reminded the student that the syllabus includes chapter readings and assignments that help students prepare for the tests. Class discussions reinforce the chapter material and deepen student understanding of key concepts. Can you think of anything else I can do to address the student's complaint?
In our second scenario, a faculty member wants the department chair to approve a purchase for the exercise physiology lab.
Hello, Dr. Phelps.
Good afternoon, Dr. Muller. I understand that you want to discuss the department budget and propose a purchase for the exercise physiology lab.
Yes, I would like the department to purchase some equipment and accompanying supplies for the lab and a research project. The equipment and research we conduct with it can be used in the department's wellness classes, as well as our exercise physiology classes. I think the purchase would fit within our department budget without too much problem and would greatly enhance student learning outcomes. What do you think? Will you approve my budget request?
In the video, Dr. Muller's request may seem to be too simplistic to reflect real life. It isn't. Donna worked with a colleague for 8 years that seldom had a purchase request approved because he didn't do his homework. Much like Dr. Muller, Donna's colleague would discuss his equipment requests with his department chair, but would not submit written proposals, and he failed to meet deadlines. He wanted equipment, but not enough to put forth the effort required to get what he wanted. Let's give Dr. Muller another try.
Hello, Dr. Phelps.
Good afternoon, Dr. Muller. I understand that you want to discuss the department budget and propose a purchase for the exercise physiology lab.
Yes, I do. Did you get my email outlining my request and proposed budget?
Yes, I received your email. I have a copy here.
As I said in my proposal, I would like the department to purchase some equipment and accompanying supplies for the lab and a research project. The equipment and research we conduct with it can be used in the department's wellness classes, as well as our exercise physiology classes. I think the purchase would fit within our department budget without too much problem and would greatly enhance student learning outcomes. What do you think of my proposal and budget request?
In our third scenario, a faculty member asks the department chair to support his application for tenure and promotion.
Hello, Dr. Gray. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, Dr. Redmond. Thank you for inviting me for coffee. It's a nice way to start the day, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I asked you to join me for coffee because I want to discuss my tenure and promotion portfolio with you. As you know, I have been at the university for 6 years now. I have made significant contributions to the department in the areas of teaching, service, and research. My tenure and promotion portfolio will document the fine work I have done in those 3 areas. As my mentor and department chair, will you support my application for tenure and promotion?
In our final scenario, not only did Dr. Redmond fail to send a copy of his tenure and promotion materials to Dr. Gray before the meeting, Dr. Redmond asked Dr. Gray to support his application for tenure and promotion without having set the groundwork for the meeting. It is best not to surprise your department chair with requests out of the blue. Keep your administrators informed. No surprises. Never surprise your boss. Your job is to keep them in the loop with everything that's important. Most of all, keep in mind that bad news is always worse coming from someone else. Let's give Dr. Redmond another try.
Hello, Dr. Gray. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure, Dr. Redmond. I understand you invited me to talk with you about your tenure and promotion portfolio. I have reviewed the materials you sent me. It looks to me that you are off to a good start.
Thank you for reviewing those materials. I am glad to learn that you think my tenure and promotion application has a good foundation.
Yes, I think it does. I understand that you have been at the university for 6 years. Your portfolio shows you have made significant contributions to the department in the areas of teaching, service, and research.
As my mentor and department chair, what do you think I should do to strengthen my portfolio to win your support for my application for tenure and promotion?
Here are some final tips for meeting with your administrator to ask your questions. Be practical and keep the meeting short. Be concise, stick to the topic and any ongoing challenges. No complaining, no judgments, no blaming, keep the meeting positive. Be candid, if there are obstacles, state what they are and briefly explain them. Come to the meeting armed and ready with a plan or suggestions on how to deal with the matter. We hope our presentation on asking the right questions to get the right answers has been helpful to you in some way. If you have any questions for us, please enter them in the Q&A. We will do our best to answer them quickly. Thank you for watching our presentation.